While I got the computer compiling this week's episode, I'm going to start a new feature on this YouTube channel that's going to be in a separate list. And these are going to be called the Weasels of the Week. This is not going to be a weekly thing, but I got a lot of material to work with. A couple weeks ago, I did a little mini rant talking about wholesalers, and I will put that back up there sooner or later. I threw it out to a bunch of friends of mine whose opinions I trust and value, and I said, hey, tell me about this. And the majority of the comments came back saying, quit using the F-bomb, quit swearing. So I'm editing that one out, and I'm coming up with a way to cover up all the times I got profaned during the course of that. But I get a little animated about certain subjects, right? And I was having a conversation yesterday with the lender, and we were discussing the state of the union, where the markets and everything going. And I went off in a little mini canned rant about what I realize is another species of weasel, right? And that's why we're getting the Weasel of the Week. The Weasel of the Week, I'm not even sure if there's a term for these people, and if there was, I forgot it. But I'm going to give you the clues to look for when one of these weasels are engaging you. This is a timely thing, and this is one of those things I want you to keep an ear out for when your family members and your loved ones and your friends are sitting there and they start talking about this person who's coming in to save them. I want a little flag to go up in your head. All right, I want you to suddenly realize, oh crap, I think my mom's talking to a weasel. Let me tell you about this week's weasel. Many years ago, I used to be a member of a real estate investors group here in Arizona, and every year they would have classes. And it was like an academy, and you'd go there and it'd be like an entire day. You could just go from class to class, almost like going to Comic-Con or something like that, where you're going from seminar to seminar. And this particular one was a way to help people who were behind on their mortgage, going into foreclosure, and save them. And that's a pretty good gig. All right, let's go check that out. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you where this goes wrong. What this methodology is, and what they taught me to do in that class. And I sat there for the entire class, even past the point where I wanted to walk out because I wanted to see what they were doing. This is going back to those seminar guys that I was ranting about back during the wholesaler rant. They're going to come up to you, and you know, Mrs. Crabtree. You remember Mrs. Crabtree? Let's talk to Miss Crabtree. All right, Mrs. Crabtree is sitting there, and she's behind on her mortgage, and she is looking at a foreclosure. She's gotten the notice of a trustee's deed of sales. She probably got something first called an acceleration notice, which is where the bank says, okay, when you're not honoring your end of the loan, we want all the money now. That's the start of the foreclosure process. That's going to be the first thing you get notified in that's really official, besides the threatening phone calls. And it is the entire amount you owe is due in 30 days. That's the note. If you do not pay them back in the entire amount due in 30 days, they're going to wind up filing a trustee's deed of sale. They're going to go down, record that they are intending on 120 days to sell your property at auction, and the constable or the sheriff's department is going to come kick you out of your house. What these particular people do is find the Mrs. Crabtrees of the world and go, Mrs. Crabtree, you are behind $5,000 on your mortgage. You're behind $6,000 on your mortgage. You have no equity in your house. But we want to help you. I want to help you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay off your entire amount that you're missing right now. All right, you need $6,000. You don't have $6,000. I'm going to pay you your $6,000. And you are going to quit claim the property over to me. And I'm going to rent the property back to you. And while I'm renting this property back to you, you're going to be paying me a little bit extra until my $6,000 is paid back. And then when you are back on your feet, you can then purchase the place back from me. I'll give you an option. You can then purchase the place back from me, and you get your house back. I'm going to make some money on this because I'm going to charge you extra. All right, but I just want to help people because I've made enough money. I just want to be a giver. It is my point in life right now to help the rest of you. You think maybe I could go into that and make that a living? Possibly, as long as I didn't want to sleep at night or talk to my friends anymore. But that's the sales pitch. That's the sales pitch they're going to do. They're going to come down there and pay off your loan for $6,000. Or not pay, hold on, I said that wrong. Not pay off your loan. They're going to make your loan right. They're going to pay the amount you have not paid. Right? You're going to quit claim the property over to them. Title is now in this person's name. Right? The debt is still in your name. And you are going to continue to make the payments to them, and they're going to pay on your behalf to your lender. Now, that doesn't sound too bad, but this is where the bad thing comes in. And this is where I started getting that funny red haze going on in the middle of this class. Because a person who is behind, statistically, a person who is behind on their mortgage payments never get caught back up. They never do. Right? If your income has dropped to the point where you no longer can make your mortgage payment, or somebody has died in your household, or whatever life event has happened to you where that mortgage payment you were making before is suddenly something you cannot make again, right, you are eventually going to wind up getting behind again. And at that point, this individual, because he owns your property now, remember, he's got a quitclaim saying that he owns the property. The only thing that's keeping him from kicking you out is your lease. So if a year goes by and your lease is up, that individual can now say, okay, well, you had your year, right? You didn't pay us back the $6,000. You didn't win the lottery. You didn't get the promotion at work. Your mother or your sister, whoever had the money, didn't come through. I'm going to need you to get out. And then they're going to turn around and sell your house for just enough to cover your note, right? Because they still got to take care of that, right? But they're going to make money selling your house. Right? This is baked into the cake. This is part of their plan, right? The way they make money doing this system is not by you paying them off. They make money by you being unable to pay them off, and they, get the house and get to sell it to a full market value. This is a thing I've seen happen to people. I got a call from a guy once. He didn't want to live there anymore. All right, him and his wife got divorced. They were trying to figure out how to get rid of the house. All right, they could not sell the house for as much as it was worth, or as much as they owed on the property. So somebody comes up and says, "Hey, tell you what, how about if I do this? I'm going to buy the house from you. All right, I'll make your mortgage payments for you. I can rent it out for as much. Da 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 da." And it sounds really good. And so they went with that. 6 months later, they get a notice from the bank saying they're foreclosing on the house that they no longer own anymore, because the person who was supposedly collecting the rents, air quote, was collecting the rent from the tenant. They just weren't paying off the mortgage. They got 6 months worth of rent in their pocket. Right? When the bank came in and foreclosed on the property, they're out free because who took the credit hit? The original owners take the credit hit because the note was in their name. The tenant? Back in that days, we didn't have the Tenant Protection Act going on, which we do now, thank God. And so the tenant's suddenly out on the street. They get a knock on the door. "Hi, yeah, we're the constables. They just foreclosed on this property. You get the hell out." So this is the things that we were seeing, the things that I was personally seeing, all right? The classes I was taught at this organization. All right. Now, I don't think this organization knew that that guy was teaching that class. I think they just needed to fill blocks, and they had a whole bunch of people from out of state who came in to teach these classes, and I hope to God, all right, that they didn't know what was going on in there. There's also, I'm no longer a member of that organization, and because of stuff like that. Good people, some great training in there, but you gotta watch these little weasel things that come up. So when you're sitting there and you're talking to your family member, your friends, or even yourself, and you're suddenly hearing the words, "Oh, and they're going to let me live in it," all right, start paying attention. Are they falling into one of the situations where that person that you're talking to is giving their house away so somebody else can supposedly make their mortgage payment for them? Right? This is a bad thing. We're not currently at the point where you have to worry about not being able to sell your house for what you owe on it. If you do, there's a mechanism for that. That's called a short sale. Right? You can always just let the bank foreclose on it and take the financial hit or the credit hit. That's called a foreclosure. But any of these weird systems, and I really, really wish I could, 2 o'clock tonight, I'll remember what the term for this is called. Any of these weird things where your loan is not getting paid off, but you are selling your house, right? Be aware of this. These are problems, right? So I don't have a title for the Weasel of the Week, and I can't remember exactly who these people are, but that's this week's Weasel.